Unfiltered podcast. I am recording this on Sunday night, September 15th, 2025. I guess this is the theme music we're going to use for this part of the podcast, the Unfiltered segment of the show, which we drop this typically every Monday. Records on Sunday for Monday. To get our a week started with a rant, with my feelings on something, just share it away. And I have something to rant about as I'm actually sitting here watching the Vikings and Falcons game, second quarter. I'm going to try to get this done. As you know, these unfiltered episodes typically take about 10, 15 minutes tops. I like to just take one topic, get it in, get it out. You know, this is not like the normal podcast we do on Tuesdays and Fridays, and of course, all the episodes we do here. But I have something to get off my chest. And it was reminded to me today why I cannot stand fantasy football. You guys know, I have been following this podcast. You know that fantasy football for me, I have not played in 6 years. However, this year I decided to play it because at my day job, we do have, I'm a part of a podcast, a day job, and we decided to do a league together. So I decided to get involved in the league because it is for camaraderie. So between all the talent on the show, the producers, and then all of the employees around that, we started a 12-player league, 12-team league. And look, I do not, I understand why people love it. I totally get it. This is more so about me. This is about how I feel about it. So I'm not criticizing fantasy football as a whole. I'm just talking about how I feel about it, how I like or dislike it. And I got to tell you, this week I was reminded why I did not play this damn thing in 6 years. And it's not that I'm losing. Obviously, I'm losing big to my opponent this week, but that's not the point here. Because I actually won last week. I didn't care either. I did not follow, because a lot of people who play fantasy football, they typically are all over their computers every minute, every second of the day when there's action going on. I didn't look at any of my lineups at all until the late 4 o'clock games. Now look, I'm not one of those that, like, if my team's losing, I'm not gonna set my lineups. No, I'm not that guy. Because even if I'm having a rough year, I take this seriously. If I'm in a league and people ask to be in a league, I'm going to take my role seriously. I will still try to win every week, even if my team has 2 wins and I'm way out of playoff race. I will still try to win every week because it is only fair, and I will not like that being done to myself. But having said all that, I was reminded why I have not played in 6 years and why I think, for me, this is not for you guys, I just think fantasy football sucks. I'm sorry, I'm not into it. And I think a lot of it too. Also, what I think what soured me on fantasy football through the years, as someone who also analyzed the game for years and, do a podcast and all that stuff. And I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else and this and that, but I mean, back in the days, one of the things that frustrated me was that I would get into debates with friends and random people on the internet. And doing this podcast, you get exposed to a lot of people who ask you questions about fantasy football and what lineups and ask my opinion. And a lot of what really soured me on the whole thing was just 2 things. Number one, I have ADHD, so I have enough going on in my life. I prefer sports betting. I'm way more engaged in sports betting, gambling on games and parlays and all this stuff. I love doing that. See, that's my vice. Like for football, if there's a vice outside of the bubble, I love sports betting more than anything else. Now, fantasy for me, I can do a weekly 1-day thing. If it was like a daily lineup, say I do one lineup for the day and I'm in like some tournament, I can do that. That's fine. But I just don't like doing whole league because here's the thing with me also do. By week 5, week 6, I've lost interest in the whole thing. And again, like I said, I'm going to still take it seriously every week in this league because it's only fair to the rest of the combatants involved in the league. But is my heart into it? Not really. It's not really. I'm not going to sit there and just gloss through the waiver wire every week. I'm just going to film the spots as I can and do the best I can. But I'm not going to go overboard like everybody else does. Plus, it's a free league also on top of that. So if there was more money, if there was money involved, maybe I have a little more motivation to really go full board. But with the money to also, let's be real, you don't have to take as much. Plus, I can never understand people who play these leagues. They play in 5 leagues and 6 leagues and even more than that. To me, more than 2 is enough. Like, and again, this is just me. This is just my ADHD. This is just my, I got a lot on my plate. So I don't really have the time to dedicate myself to that. Now, sports betting, love that. I love betting parlays. I do a 1 o'clock session. I do a 4 o'clock session. Like today, for example, I had a bunch of parlays. I barely missed on one leg. The Dolphins screwed me today. A couple times, I had a bad leg on the first hand. I had the under in the Steelers and the Seahawks, and I went over it, and I had the Dolphins to win, and they lost. But then I did an emergency parlay where I did a 2-team parlay to make up for the losses, and I did that. I had the Colts live bet Colts, and I live bet the Eagles to win. And by the way, for the record, in terms of sports betting, I am done, guys. I am done with betting spreads. Forget it. I'm done. No more spreads. I'm doing parlays. No more spreads. I'm just betting the winners. I'm going to do prop bets, betting the winners. And even if the value is as much as parlays, I'll take the wins anyway. Because we get so enamored as sports bettors that we need to hit big on one parlay that we lose our minds. You have a great 6-leg parlay, and then the 7th leg is hit because some guy didn't go over a certain amount of yards. Or you know what I'm saying? I'm done with that. I'm so done with that. So I did that on my last 2-leg parlay, and it hit. And basically I made up the money that I lost, the money I invested. And look, here's the thing with me. I bet $5 a parlay. I'm not going broke there. $5 parlay, 3 legs, maybe 4 legs tops, and I'm done. Okay, I quadruple my money. So I bet 5 to make $30-something, and then that's a win. That's a win for me. So. But for me, the larger situation here for me is this. I just don't love fantasy football. And I was reminded today, because again, I have my lineup set up. I play it as is. But I wasn't interested. Once the game started, I didn't follow it. I was logged into sports betting the entire time. I didn't care. I did not care. And I didn't check my lineup until like literally 6:30 in the evening, when the 4 o'clock kickoff games were almost done. Okay? And I found out I was losing by 50-something points to my opponent. Okay, it is what it is. Now, again, set my lineup, did what I can, but it is what it is. So, and for me, also, the biggest thing for me, and this is what really started me on fantasy football years ago. When you have conversations with people about football as a whole, there's the football conversation, and then there's the fantasy one. And I hate how people correlate fantasy numbers with a player being good or bad. I remember this is the thing that brought me back in 2018, when some person said that Russell Wilson sucks. And this is when Russell Wilson at the time was probably MVP candidate. That he sucks because his fantasy numbers were not up to speed or up to snuff. And to me, it was like, okay, we're going to do this. You have a top 5 quarterback in the league, and he was clearly a top 5 quarterback in the league. But you're going to sit here with a straight face and tell me that Russell Wilson sucks because your fantasy numbers aren't being met? That is ridiculous. And for me, that's where I checked out. I was like, I can't do this. I can't have a straight-laced football conversation with you, okay? And then tell me a guy who is clearly a top 5 guy in the league, tell me he sucks because your fantasy numbers aren't being hit. That's where I maxed out. That's what I checked out. And again, I'm in because I'm trying to be a good soldier at my job and to be that guy and this be involved. But reality is, I'm just not interested. I prefer sports betting. I like sports betting. That is fun for me. I like sweating those games. And again, I'm a minority because everybody loves fantasy football, and God bless you. You're into it. God bless you. Have at it. I'm just different. I'm just built different, guys. So I'm sorry. But for me, personally, Earnest EJ Christian, fantasy football sucks. And that's what I'm going to say about that. Anyway, on X, at EJ Christian 7, Unfiltered, and looking for all the shows this week. So let's get the week started, and we will talk to you guys soon. So next one, later, guys.